We begin tonight with this giant seafaring mammal, as you can see in front of you, the North Atlantic right whale. Never heard of it before, but there it is. Anyway, apparently Joe Biden cares so deeply about these majestic beasts that he's now prepared to wreck the maritime industry from Florida to Massachusetts in order to protect the whale. Now, he has a new regulation from the White House. It's designed to prevent boats from accidentally hitting North Atlantic right whales that would restrict the speed of all boats over 35 feet to 10 knots, or the equivalent of 11 miles per hour up to 100 miles from the coast. Now, keep in mind, there have only been 5 deadly whale strikes by boats in the past 15 years. 5, that's it. There's never been a confirmed whale strike in a federal channel, if you will. Now, if this new regulation goes into effect, well, experts are warning that port traffic will be crippled, the fishing industry will be destroyed, human lives will be put in danger, and many boats can't operate safely in the open ocean at 10 knots. Now, of course, between the border crisis, Afghanistan, the crime crisis, and now this effort to protect a few whales, well, human life always seems to now take a back seat in the Biden administration. Of course, they're worshiping at the altar of the climate cult. In this case, saving whales that are not even really being killed. That takes priority. Now, just this week, Biden pledged to use $8 billion, your money, $8 billion with a B, to shut down coal-fired power plants in Africa. The continent barely has enough reliable and affordable energy as it is. And as things stand now, well, Africans will suffer if these power plants are shut down. But Joe Biden doesn't seem to care. He only wants to appease the climate religious cult, and he's more than willing to use your hard-earned tax dollars to do it. It's a lot of money. Now, this week, during meetings with world leaders in Washington, D.C., Joe Biden had this to say to his African counterparts. Take a look.
We celebrate an African diaspora community in the United States, millions strong, pulling America and the United States together in a tight embrace of family.
All right, and it went downhill from there with a joke about poor people and several other puzzling moments. Take a look.
As I told some of you, you invited me to your countries. I said, be careful what you wish for, because I may show up. The poor relatives always show up. The wealthy ones never show up. The poor come and they eat your food, stay longer than they should. Prosper Africa, deal room. That sounds like something that we shouldn't be saying. Prosper Africa, deal room. I kept asking, where's the deal room? All the members of Congress, please stand up if you're here so I can identify who you are. There's the man. All right, I'm sure you're out there somewhere. I said at the top of this forum about closing deals, and we've delivered. So just give me let's give you a few highlights from the deal room to the benefits they will deliver to Africa. Cisco Systems and Cyber Bastion, a diaspora-owned small business, is jointly announcing $800 million in new contracts.
Now, remember, this is the same guy that's not going to go to the southern border because he's way too busy, he tells us. Joe has more important things to do, like suing the state of Arizona for attempting to secure its portion of the border with shipping containers. In other words, you have the governor of Arizona doing Joe's job and Joe now suing because he's doing his job, if that makes any sense. Now, the Biden administration wants this makeshift wall removed immediately so it's easier for more illegal immigrants to cross. And this comes, by the way, we are 6 days away from Title 42 ending. And by the way, that's next week. That will spur a new wave of mass illegal immigration into this country. Now, the state of our border has never been worse. The security risk, terrorism, drugs, gangs, fentanyl, heroin, human trafficking, all these criminals, everything's getting worse every single day. But that's apparently news to Karine Jean-Pierre, because today, White House press secretary praised her boss for working hard on the border. That's like Mayorkas saying the border's secure. Take a look.
We are not asking for political stunts. We continue to see political stunts from many Republicans out there, and that's not how we're going to fix this issue. They want to secure the border. We've been doing that work on our own. What Americans should know is that the president has done the work to deal with what we're seeing at the border since day one. What Americans should know is that the president put forth an immigration reform policy to make sure that we're dealing with a broken system.
Okay, you got to be kidding. How can you say that with a straight face? Have you not seen the video at the White House? Are you not aware of the facts? Or are you just flat out lying to the American people yet again? Now, Joe Biden needs to get down to the border as soon as possible if he, of course, is mentally and physically capable. There's a lot more to this country beyond Washington, D.C. and the Delaware beach or Nantucket where he likes to vacation. Now, Joe Biden should check it out sometime, but that's likely not going to happen. Joe Biden is too weak, he's too lazy, and frankly, he seems to have no problem with record numbers of illegal immigrants coming into this country. He doesn't care about the human toll at the border. He never will unless a Biden is somehow directly affected. On the other hand, he will patrol the high seas to protect whales. Does any of that make sense? Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.